you.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to the lands we're having the meeting on today, the Wangaroa country. I'd like to acknowledge all the elders past, present and emerging, and thank you.
Our call on Councillor John to read the city prayer. Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, we give you thanks for the blessings you bestow upon us in this Shire. Grant to those who hold office in this council the spirit of justice and truth, of wisdom and charity, that mindful of our responsibility and of the needs of those we serve, we may promote the true welfare of your people, exercise wisely and faithfully the authority committed to us, and advance the common good. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. For the meeting this evening, we have one apology. Councillor Reynolds, the Mayor, and I'd like to accept his apologies and make a leave of absence for him. If you have somebody to read that, Councillor McNeil, and seconded Councillor Marshall. All in favour? Say aye. Against, I declare it carried. Confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. Somebody moved acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting? Councillor Woodruff, and seconded Douglas, Councillor Douglas. All in favour? Say aye. Against? I declare it carried. Item 5 is, does anyone have a disclosure of any pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in any matter that we're discussing tonight?
Thank you, Councillor Bowditch. I have two pecuniary interests tonight. I am a member of a sporting club, and the president of the sporting club works at Mount Pleasant. And I have a significant pecuniary interest in 19.2, the Hungerford Road closure. The company I work for was involved in doing geomorphic identification on that site, and I work for a company involved with mentioned in the report.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have three pecuniary interests. First one is in community infrastructure, item 11.3 on page 163. Mangoola Coal continuation operation, Wyvong Road Adler Bridge infrastructure. My type of interest is significant pecuniary. My employer undertakes work for Mangoola Coal. Similar, Madam Chair, in 11.4, page 169, Mangoola Coal continuing operations project Yarrawal Road upgrade. Again, significant pecuniary as my employer undertakes work for Mangoola Coal. Now, the last one, Madam Chair, in corporate and community services, item 12.7, Mount Pleasant modification, page 531, the new VPA. My employer also conducts work for Mount Pleasant. Thank you.
Thank you, Darryl Marshall. Over a community interest in 12.7, page 531, Mount Pleasant, as my employer works for the company.
I have a preliminary interest in 12.7, page 531, the Mount Pleasant modification new VPA. The company I work for has a contract with them.
I have a non-pecuniary interest. The company I work for works for a company that's associated with the Mount Pleasant line item 12.7 on page 531.
Move to public participation.
Maybe not.
Can you imagine not driving to your house for 570 days now in a two-wheel drive vehicle, or being able to have a proper family holiday for 5 years, having taken in fires, drought and now floods, mainly because of access issues along the local government road? My name is Michelle Walker and our family are permanent residents at Hungerford Road, Barami Creek. The majority of the property we own is in the Hungerford Valley. The Hungerford Road that is being voted on tonight has been at the present location for 95 years. It was with great distress that our family were called into the council chambers on Friday to hear of the decision that is being made here tonight on the future of Hungerford Road, all of which is out of our control. As many are aware, the road is plagued with creek problems for the first 1 kilometre, but many of you may or may not realise that the road continues for another 9 kilometres past these problems. Firstly, we are not the only property owners along Hungerford Road. There are 3 others, not just our family, which council seem to be unaware of at Friday's meeting. They have not been in contact with any of these other owners, and we seem to be the only owners targeted. Secondly, and most importantly, at Friday's meeting, the senior council members would not give us anything in writing after many requests, in which we questioned why. What is council scared of? Why so many secrets? And why don't they want their ratepayers knowing about this? Their only response was that they don't want the liability or the responsibility anymore of 10 kilometres of the road, according to the so-called business paper. If this road is taken out of public hands, it will change not only Hungerford Valley, but the entire Barami Valley forever. We question access issues to Wallamai National Park, especially in fire situations for national parks and wildlife and the Rural Fire Service. Many of you may be aware of the Hungerford fires of the 2013, where we witnessed hundreds of fire-related vehicles 24 hours a day access this road while the fires were on. This was crucial for protecting the stopping further advancement of the bushfire, unlike any of the Shire has ever experienced. At Friday's meeting, which I remind you that was only 4 days ago, to say we were very unprepared was an understatement. We turned up to what we thought was a discussion meeting, only to realise that council had legal representatives present at the meeting. We too could have arrived with legal representation, but generally believe it was simply a discussion matter. We were blindsided. We believe we are reasonable, hard-working family and community people with a reasonable request. There are many issues with the road situation to be considered, and our biggest request that we ask tonight, that the decision is not made tonight, especially with the mayor not being present. The decision also could set a precedent for many other rural roads. This has been an ongoing problem for our family for many years, and we truly believe that 4 days is not enough time to digest this. After all this time, a bit longer is not going to hurt in the big scheme of things. There are many issues that need to be resolved before councillors simply go to a vote to give up 10 kilometres of council assets, pass the buck and sweep it under the carpet. As a ratepayer, the decision made here tonight could be very embarrassing for Muswellbrook Shire Council. Just because a vote is being made does not mean the problem is going to go away. As elected councillors, our family and many, many others in the community and beyond think that the councillors need to get it right on behalf of the ratepayers. And I will say again, this could be very embarrassing for Muswellbrook Shire Council, and in saying this, our phones will be working overtime after the decision tonight. Thank you.
Any questions from the councillors?
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Ms Walker, you said there was 2 or 3 other residents on the road?
Correct.
Property owners.
Not residents.
So you're not referring to the Crown in the local east?
No.
Thank you.
Can I just add, we've got 2 other houses on our property, but we can't put people in them because we don't expect them to do what we do every day. It's got to be blatant on the truth.
Any other questions?
And 43 people, we can't put them in that way.
No other questions, we'll move to the next matter. We have no general business and no business arriving, so we're moving to environmental services. And 10.1, an administrative amendment to Muswellbrook Local Environment Plan at Racecourse Road. I'll ask the General Manager to give us the recommendation.
This is report 10.1, and the officer's recommendation is that Council endorse the planning proposal containing attachment A for the amendment 3 of Racecourse Road, and requests a parliamentary council opinion to amend the Muswellbrook Local Environment Plan, and 2, makes the amending plan under delegation pursuant to section 3.36 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act.
Can we have a councillor to move the action?
I'll also move, also, as in the briefing, I'd just like council officers to note the concerns with regards to the flood fund.
Yeah, I'll second that.
So we'll vote on it, all councillors, can you raise your right hands? Against? That's against. I declare it carried. So we move on to 10.2, commercial change of use and alterations and additions to Oakley Street, Denman. We have the officer's recommendation. Is somebody willing to move the officer's recommendation? Councillor Woodruff, seconded. Councillor Drayton. All in favour, raise your right hands. Against? I declare it carried. You did have, you were for it, Councillor Bowditch? Yes. Okay. So 10.3 is the monthly report to Council Planning and Environment and Regulatory Services. The information contained in this report. Would somebody like to move the action? Mahajan, Councillor Mahajan, and seconded, Councillor Marshall. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? Declare it carried. 10.4, local infrastructure contribution plan review. We have an officer's recommendation.
I'll also move.
Moved by
Councillor Scott.
Councillor Scholes. Seconded. Councillor Woodruff. All in favour, raise your right hands. Against? I declare it carried unanimously. We move to 11, community infrastructure. 11.1, major project status report.
Excuse me, that we go to 10.5.
There is no 10.5.
There is no 10.5.
Right, I find those wrong.
So we're attending to the major project status report 11.1, that the information contained in this report be noted. Would somebody move that one? Councillor McNeil, seconded. Councillor Barry. Sorry, Councillor Dunn. Wrong. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 11.2, Almond Street. Yeah, an officer's recommendation. So would you like to move that way? Councillor Woodruff?
Councillor Scholes, I'll second.
Okay.
I'd like to speak against the motion, please.
Sorry? Yes, Councillor Bowdy? Okay. With the move, like to speak for it before?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. As has always been the case in this road, it's a Crown road. It's not under the care or maintenance of council, never has been. And until such time it's brought up to the state where it should be handed over to council, I recommend the motion.
So, Councillor.
Thank you. Yes, this road, it's been in and out of the latest 4 years. I've been trying to get access to this. Council approved for these lots to be built out there. I do believe we have a duty of care to the community. It's all about the community having access to their places. And thanks for the report. Council, you've done a great job sending the report. I read the information that was in it, appreciate it, but we had emergency services, had a phone call, emergency services was out there on last Friday night and got stuck. So, which wasn't very pleasant for the people out there. I hope that if we just keep swiping this away and not helping the community, which I believe council's here for, and pray to God we don't need to get emergency services out there in wet weather and or need anything else unless we get fly in. So I speak against the motion, but I think council should look at doing something to bring it up to some sort of standard and fix the water problem that comes through about 50 metres of road over there.
Would anyone like to speak for the motion?
Yes, as a second, I'll try to speak. In the council's report, identified it would take $1 million to get the road to a state where the grader on it in a sustainable manner is required. And then you've got the ongoing operating costs of doing that. It is a Crown road. I understand there's 5 residents involved. Access is lost to private properties by creeks and flooding all the time. Basically, this is not a road. It hasn't been a road. And I don't think council it would be a precedent for us to accept this road. We'd open up a can of worms with all the roads up John Street and every other local rural road where there's other roads offshooting.
Anyone like to speak against?
I'd like to speak for the motion. Oh, yeah.
Councillor Marshall will speak for the motion.
I'd also like to speak for the motion on the grounds that we have several roads in the council that are not in maintenance, care of maintenance or whatever, and just add another one to the list, I don't think would be the right thing to do by the people who already have to sustain their own roads.
Any further speakers?
Can I speak against the motion?
Councillor Barry?
I'm actually quite disappointed that we're not even looking at the 220 metres of road that council still own, that we're not going to further maintain. We talk about improving livability in the area. This is a road within a township that people already live on, that is unsafe. And we are looking at further subdivisions down in that direction, but I can tell you now, if I was offered the opportunity to buy a block of land down there, I would not, because of the access. So we need to further look at this, I do feel.
Thank you. Any further speakers? I'll put the motion.
I get a right of reply. I'm the mover, I get a right of reply.
Oh, sorry, right reply.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of points there. If you're going to buy a block of land on Armour Street, it'd be after it's developed. We currently have 4 developers down there that have had DAs processed, and none of those blocks of land down there will be available until those DAs have enacted, which means that the roads will be brought up to the proper standards, curb and gutter, tar sealed. Everybody who owns a dirt road has to look after their own road. The Crown, who owns this road, doesn't look after any of their roads. So I again support the motion as put by staff. Thank you.
So we'll now take the vote. So the councillors for the motion, please raise your right hand. 6 against. 4. Declare the motion carried. So we move to 11.3, Mangoola Coal Continuation Operations Overbridge Infrastructure. There's a recommendation. Oh, we have conflicted councillors. Would the conflicted councillors like to leave the room? They've left.
Madam Chair, I also submit a motion supporting the officer's recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Scholes, seconded.
Yeah, I'll second.
Councillor McNeil. So, take the vote. The councillors for the motion. Against. I declare the motion carried. So 11.4 is Mangoola Coal Continued Operations on Yarraman Road upgrade. There is a recommendation. Would somebody like to?
Again, I support the officer's recommendation, and I congratulate them on getting it to this stage, and I hope they have great success with regards to getting all the money out of Glencore to make sure that this wider 50 bridge goes into place.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Douglas. Sorry, do you need to speak on the motion, or you want to speak? No? Okay. Well, I'll move the action, so right hands. Against? I declare it carried. So we'll wait for the councillor Georgia to return. (11.5) Transport for New South Wales proposed road rehabilitation of Denman Road. There's a recommendation. Would somebody like to move the recommendation? Councillor Marshall and Councillor Barry. All those in favour, raise your right hand. Against? Declare it carried. So So move to 11.6, the Bridge Street Rail Bridge Replacement. There's a, Councilman endorses the soft landscaping. Somebody like to move the action? Councillor Neil. And seconded?
Yes.
Councillor Green. So, all in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 11.7, the Muscat Skate Park. There's an officer's recommendation. Would somebody be able to move that?
I'd like to move option 1 of the officer's recommendation. Stop the widening pedestrian fencing. I'd like to move option 1 of the officer's recommendation to install the Transport New South Wales conforming pedestrian fencing to function as a guardrail and fence along the footpath.
So you're moving item 1 but not item 2. Is that right?
No, N2, sorry, yeah, and put the
Somebody second? That's Mahajan, thank you. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 11.8, Local Government Recovery Grants Program. New Zealand.
Councillor Scholes also moved.
Okay. Seconded. Barry. Mr. Barry. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. Move to item 12, Corporate and Community Services. 12.1, report on council grant funding and community engagement. There's a recommendation, officer's recommendation, so we move the action. The second, Councillor Barrett. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 12.2, the council's written returns of interest. Information be noted. Did somebody move that way?
Move that.
Seconded. Councillor Douglas. All in favour, raise your right hand. Yes, I declare it carried. 12.3, Code of Meeting Practice Submissions and Adoption. Council adopts the 2022 Model Code of Meeting Practice.
I'd like to speak to the motion if I could.
Yes.
I'd like to move option B, that it not be revised for these reasons. The transparency is something, certainly a word that I've heard used more in the last few months than I've heard used in my entire life. So councillors certainly want to be transparent. Councillors want to certainly be transparent. I feel that by adopting any code of practice that takes out, that removes general business, that has to give 14 days notice for any written questions. I mean, if you've got an issue from the community and you want to discuss at a council meeting amongst all councillors and to be transparent, you issue a 14-day period, you wait another 4 weeks. If that's an important issue, you're looking at 6 weeks for councillors to get together to discuss an issue from the community. I think that's completely unacceptable. So I would, for those reasons, as I say, certainly with the transparency that this council wants, I think it's important that we don't remove general business, we don't remove those written questions, and certainly maintain the status quo, which is, I understand, is what option B does in that, in the staff submission.
So you're moving an amendment.
I'll support Councillor Burton.
speaking against the motion? I'll put the motion then. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? Mrs. Davis, did you vote? Yes.
No, I have my right hand up, I was scratching my neck.
The motion is carried. The amended motion. So 12.4, appointment of general manager's performance panel. There's a recommendation. Would somebody like to move the action?
I'm going to move that.
Sorry, keep forgetting to put the white on. Would you like to nominate a councillor? For the councillor nominated?
I need a seconder on that.
Sorry?
No, you haven't put the motion, you need a name.
Well, I'm happy to nominate myself.
I'd like to second that.
The motion? Sorry, seconded? Councillor Douglas?
Can I get clarification, please?
Sorry?
We have a councillor nominated for the nomination by council. There's also a space there for the council nominated by general manager. Is that part of the motion or not?
I thought it was, but, oh,
The manager would nominate Councillor Barry.
so we have Councillor Neil and Councillor Barry to be nominated, so all in favour, raise your right hand.
Did we get a second for that?
I'll second it.
Yeah, there's seconded. Councillor Douglas, seconded. Against? I declare it carried. Report on investments held as of 28th of February. So there's council information from the officers. Somebody like to move the action?
I'll say move.
We can't hear you. Councillor Scholes moved it.
I thought you said seconded, didn't you?
Who seconded?
No, I said
You moved.
I moved it.
Okay, sorry.
I'll second it.
Okay, councillor Marshall, seconded. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 4.6 is financial policies. Is an officer's recommendation. Do you have, anyone have any questions or to move it? Councillor Woodruff, you moving it?
Yeah.
Seconded? Councillor Douglas. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 4.7. Do you have a quorum? No, we don't.
Yes. Steve's not officially done it.
Jeff did mention which board it was, so maybe you're going to speak to
He's already got.
Yeah. Including Jennifer. Yeah. You forgot to get yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
We've got 6, good enough.
Councillor Dunn. Seconded.
I'd like to move. Yeah, sorry. I'd like to move the recommendation with the following amendment. The engagement of apprenticeships be changed from 4 to 6, 2 of which will be adult apprenticeships.
Okay. Thank you. So, somebody seconded.
I'll support them.
Councillor McNeil. All in favour? With the hand. Against? And spirit carried.
Don't make life difficult.
So was I.
I knew you were putting your hand up.
I second it. Oh, sorry.
You're right. You're right.
I second it.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
I can report to the councillors returning that addition was that 4 to 6 apprentices being added to the motion.
From 4 to 6.
From 4 to 6.
Yeah, instead of 4 apprentices, 6 apprenticeships.
Okay, from 4 apprentices to 6 apprentices. And it's already. So we move to 12.8, February 2022 monthly financial reports. The reports that have been provided.
I'll start with that.
The action. Councillor Dowdy. Seconded. Councillor Maharton. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. Community Services Report. That the information in this report be noted. Would somebody like to move the action? Councillor Douglas. Seconded. Councillor Barry. Raise your right hand if you agree with that. Thank you. Nobody against. So 12.10, gifts, bribes and benefits policy. There's a recommendation from the officers. Would somebody like to lead the action?
I'll say no.
Councillor McNeil. Oh, this is not first.
That's good, yeah, that's nice.
And Councillor Scholes seconded, okay? So, could you raise your right hand? For voting, against, I declare it carried. 12.11, superannuation and payment to councillors. Would somebody move the motion?
Yep.
Councillor Marshall. Seconded. Motion. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? I declare it carried. So 12.12 is a change of date for ordinary meetings of council. There's a recommendation.
Yeah, I'm happy to move that.
Who wants to talk?
Oh, sorry.
I hear him, mate. Sorry about that. I stand up because I got a cramp.
I'm looking at the business page.
Okay. Would somebody like to second it?
Madam Chair, I'd like an amendment if I could. Seeing we're changing it to the proposed changes, which I'll endorse the 4th Tuesday of the month. Can I also move that the July meeting set down for Denman be to take place in Sandy Hollow?
That's a good idea.
And I'll also put forward that, since we own this building, I don't see why we don't meet here until such times as the chamber is refurbished to suit.
A motion. I'll speak for it.
Can I speak for it?
Would somebody else like to speak to the motion?
I'd just like to agree with that motion. I think it's really important that we do take the opportunity to hold one of our meetings at Sandy Hollow. And coming out here tonight, it's a fantastic venue. It's far better than what we've been using. So I think this is the place where we hold our meetings in future.
Can I get a point of clarification? How long was that for?
Yes, Councilman, McNeil, only until the council chamber is refurbished, so we can move back to there.
Now I guess you can travel us. Safe.
Would somebody second that motion so we can make a motion?
I did.
Can we read out that motion?
You've got it.
Yes, Madam Chair, that the meetings now be moved to the 4th Tuesday of the month. That until the Muswellshire Chamber is refurbished, that the meetings will be taking place here, except for the one set down in July, which will be at Sandy Hollow, and the other one in October, which will also be here.
Can I just ask for clarification? So that's from the next meeting. So the main meeting will be the 4th Tuesday here.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll put the motion. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. So, item 12:13. Sponsorship for the Westpac Helicopter Charity Horse Ride. Would somebody like to move?
I'll so move, Madam Chair, Councillor Scholes.
Seconded? Councillor Douglas?
I'd like to speak on the motion. I'd just like to thank the supporters of the people organising the Westpac Helicopter Charity Ride out there. It's a great service, and I'm pleased that the council's supporting it, because I think we need to keep supporting this with so many places that we can't get access in. We need to, no one ever has to use it, but yeah, we need to keep this in the air.
I'll put the motion. All in favour, raise your right hand. Against? I declare it carried. 12.14, public exhibition of the draft Muswellshire Community Strategic Plan. There's officer's recommendation. Would somebody like to move it? Councillor Woodruff. Seconded. Councillor Marshall. No request to speak. Or put the motion. Right hands. Against? Declare it carried. Additional rate variation and application proposal. Somebody happy to move the motion?
I'll move the motion with comment with regards to the state government not approving a rate variation that it even matches CPI. It's based on 1/4 CPI, not the year's CPI. And I commend the officer's report, which identifies the shortfall on rates that council will suffer against that as budgeted on a normal rate rise, which we would be expecting on an annual basis.
So the second motion? Councillor Barry? Those in favour, raise your right hand. Against, declare it carried. The Corporate Committee, so Local Traffic Committee, 13.1.
Yeah, I'll move that.
I'll second.
Councillor Marshall. Put the motion, all in favour say right hand. Against, I declare it carried. State significant development, the officer's recommendation, will you move the action?
I'll move the action of the officer, Councillor Stiles.
I'll second that.
I'll put the motion. Against, I declare it carried. 13.3 is the Finance Review and Advisory Committee. The office has a recommendation there, would somebody be happy to move the action? Councillor Hunter. Seconded.
I'll second it.
I'll put the motion, all in favour say, raise your right hand. Against, I declare it carried. Item 14.1, food and garden organics collection. It's an action, would somebody like to move the action? Councillor Woodford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councillors, I wish to put forward the following motion. One, that Muswellbrook Shire Council incorporate the food, organics and garden organics, otherwise known as Fargo collection, into our waste management scheme. And two, that the timing of the introduction of said service be at the best advantage to the current contract for waste collection, the expertise of council staff and the provision of the service to our community.
Councillor Stiles, I'd like to support the motion. I can remember visiting with council officers the Port Quarry facility 6 years ago now. This has been on the slow boil for way too long. We need to progress.
Thank you. So, all in favour, raise your right hand. Against? 14.2 is a notice of motion from Councillor McNeil.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. If you mind if I sit down, because I've trouble with this. I'd like to move the motion that John Manners submits a report to the May 2022 ordinary meeting for the consideration of which outlines a project plan for the development of an externally produced tourism video, photographic passage to showcase our Shire, identify specific Shire businesses and recreation facilities to be featured in that package, estimate the financial and associated resources required to complete it, identify an available source of funding in the adopted 2021-22 budget for allocation for the project. Really two elements. One, to promote what we have in the Shire to attract tourism and stimulate economic growth from that, but also to try and help change the image of our Shire, which will lead to attracting more people to want to live here. Thank you.
I'd like to second it. It's just checking that I could. So I'm seconding it. So, all in favour of the motion, raise your right hand. Against, I declare it carried. So, questions, no's. Does anyone have a question? So, councillors' reports. Do you have a report, Councillor Woodruff? Councillor Marshall? Councillor McNeil?
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have a late report, and I meant to move it after the Australia Day celebrations, but I was actually sick at the meeting, so what I wanted to report on was the two elders that we had, Uncle Richie and Uncle Glenn, who performed the smoking ceremony and the didgeridoo ceremony. Now, I had the opportunity to talk to both of them after the celebrations, and they explained the meaning of their of what they presented to be all about coming together and also forgiveness. It was very powerful, and I meant to share it before, and I really like council to write to both these gentlemen and thank them deeply for what they expressed.
I certainly agree with your comments. That was very great performance. So, have we addressed this?
Yes, through the chair, we have provided a thank you to all of those that participated in Australia Day.
Is that satisfactory to you, Councillor McLean? Is that satisfactory? Thank you. Any other reports? Questions for the next meeting? Does anyone have any questions for the next meeting? No? We're now moving to closed council, so would somebody move that we...
I'll second it.